family. I love it. And there's family. Hi, Betty. All right. So a Christina Peacock, let me know. Any of you that decide that paid, that want to call in, you're more than welcome to do so. And then people can hear you live. Or we can do it. So, Gaia Man, you just have to decide how you want me to read it. Do you want a specific question? If so, write it right here, please. If you paid, talk to me right here on chat. That would be great. So we will take, and she said she'd go later, and I can do that. And then so I think Gaia Man's up first. All right. So as soon as I hear back from Gaia Man, then we will go into the paid readings. And guess what? I remembered. I found my timer. It fell under the table. And it fell under the table, but under a pillow. So every time I looked under the table, when Spirit said it's there, and I'm like, I don't see it. Finally, I got moved the pillow. I don't know why I couldn't get that. That made me laugh. Okay. All right. So nobody has seen her. Well, I'll have to figure out how to contact her because I don't think she's friends of mine. So that makes it even harder yet to find the person. Okay. Gaia Man. I don't know if he's, Paul, Paul. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start and I'll look up. And if Paul, you have anything you want to say, then I better look and see if Paul wrote me here. I don't see Paul, so we're good. All right. So then I will go back. Okay, Danny. All right. Yep, Alan, Crystal Ann, I did see yours. Oh, here you go. Okay. So anything specific, Paul, that you want me to talk about? Because I'm going to start your 11 right now and just general. Okay. All right. Now we're going to check because we have worked with your energy before. Have you grown from anything that you have done? Oh, you have excelled a little bit. That's good. It's always good when they've given information. Compatibility to what in particular? People? Okay, so I feel like compatibility to my surroundings. So are you just not, there's just an uncomfortability. All right, so as you show me the uncomfortability, it has to do with people make you that way. So are you still having conversations and things like this that you still have a quiet voice and you still feel like you're irrelevant in the situation? Because if so, then I will look towards your Kundalini and I'm going to see that it has to do with the first chakra about how is it that you're supposed to feel in your surroundings. And as I'm looking, it is in the spiritual body way out there. And it's about fear. And in this case, the fear, because if you think that like, well, I don't have any fear, it was going to be related to as soon as you get into that situation about ready to talk, there becomes a disconnection. And because of that disconnection, you're like, ooh, I don't want that feeling. Now, it's a very specific feeling, even though you can talk and you have a great voice and people hear you and all of this stuff happening. The problem is that this is a remembrance. This goes back into the nadis, the energies of the Kundalini. And this goes back to you had an experience somewhere along a soul line. And as I'm looking, it is the disconnected is like, okay, you're going to jump the conversation, but there's an awkward feeling. It's a very specific awkward feeling. And you, without knowing, then your brain starts to go into certain thoughts because the emotions start to kick in. and then your voice doesn't really want to resonate and communicate out or be that, because sometimes you can put your mind in there. Yes, I am Paul. But when you go out, you're like, where? I just can't seem to get past this. Okay. So, and that's what's called an arrested development. All right. And as I begin to look at this, the awkwardness makes you feel incompatible, because your remembrance on the soul line was that you had incompatibility with people, but not really in this lifetime, but it's a lot of residue from that particular time, and you haven't gotten over it. That particular time, you became conscientious. It was doing the right and wrong. And back then, from past life that I can hear, because that's new. I feel your past life self standing right behind me as a remembrance. Now remember, when parts of you create in another soul and die, you leave that imprint behind. So you're standing right here, and you're from, God, you look like the Renaissance time. It was, oh, wow. So it was, were you a peasant? But in the Regal's time. Okay, so that means that in that time period, if you were going against the king, you could get killed. It wasn't really going against religion as much as going against the king. And it was, you had to be really careful what you said. So there's a particular part of you, it's like, oh, and so that's the remembrance. So if you were to really heal this, I would say go to R1S. It's the right wrist, first position, nice and soft, okay? And I want you to kind of put yourself in that position of thinking that if I say anything, I'm going to get my head cut off, or I'm going to get a hanging, or whatever the feeling of fear is, because there it was like, I could see fire. So, or it could be unexpected shot, not shot, but whatever, the bow and arrow. I don't know what they did. Stabbing, whatever. But it was like, but then I also feel like somebody put you on the path, that past life, put you on a display and said, like, okay, how Christ was put on the cross, I feel like they had to put you on a display. And yeah, it is anxiety. It's weird because it starts in that first chakra, but then when it comes up and shoots in your head, you're like, whew, okay. So I would definitely say R1S for that, and worry. And just allow yourself in that space, because you already know it exists. You already know it's there. And if you're afraid to really feel it, I want you just to look at it, because you said it feels like anxiety. But if you just stare at it and find those connections about what I said and how you feel about it, and just think, okay, we're going to heal this out of the Kundalini and out of the 9th chakra. You don't need to know anything else about what those are. You can look them up all you want, but you're going to heal it out of the 9th chakra and heal it out of the Kundalini. That's intention. And then you're going to go into that awkward feeling, listen to the story, and start healing that out. Now, all of a sudden, I'm feeling, what is this? The stress points of the is going off. What would you want? Deliberately, Rob? Don't hold. Where would you want it to go with this? Okay, so when you're getting ready to, after you feel like that feeling has calmed down, then I want you to look at life a little differently. I want you to just kind of worry. Just don't think of that time period as much as think of worry, just to worry. Worry about what you say next, or worry about, it's just a little bit different than anxiety. And you're going to hold R2D, which is the right wrist in the second position. Remember, 1, 2, and you're going to hold your thumb in deep this time. Okay. Don't forget this part. And you're going to just worry. And then you're going to look at your kids, look at your wife, look at your friends, worry about yourself, putting yourself into a situation, and just do it that way. Yeah, those hurt, don't they? But allow yourself to remember, put it on a scale from 0 to 10. Get it to a 10. I'm sure it's not hard for you. But if you can't get the number, give it a color. Okay, eventually you're going to get the color to be clear or white, and the number to be 0. So you can just say, oh, it's there a little bit. No, finish it off then. But You want to just check in and just like, oh, I don't recognize it. I can't find it. That's awesome. And do that with both. Okay. Now, if you're sitting there and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, something familiar, it's not the same, but familiar, they said they want you to go to L2S. Okay? L2S. And you hold that point. And, and just, oh, I feel something feels familiar. It's not that it's coming back, it's another layer. But that lifetime holds, that past life holds that in your levels of consciousness, okay? So we're going to start breaking them out. Okay, Paul, you're doing great. A few more minutes, and Spirit. Wait, what? Okay, for instance, are you seeing something repetitive? Because they're saying that there's something about with rainbows. Now, did you know somebody on the other side that liked color? Because all of a sudden I just see rainbow. Now, what's weird is that this rainbow has no color. So they could have just been a person that was very depressed. They said that you knew somebody that felt awkward. You resonated with this person that felt awkward. Oh, I see where they're going with this. And at a very young age, about 1 year old, we have a tendency to look at the people we grow up and we don't realize it, but, oh, I want to be like them. Or I resonate with them. And then you have it stuck in your head and you be them. Okay. Okay. So you may not recognize it now. It may come to you later. Do you know anybody? Now, it's funny. When Spirit tells me George, it usually means there's a spirit guide, but there might be actually a George in your life. And because I hear, hey, buddy, it's me. It's George. So I'm looking, and it is the actions that they had to take. The actions, what were you saying? Was that they made themselves incompatible. They pushed people away. They have been in a situation where you are not able to connect with them because they don't want to connect. They literally put that wall up, but you don't want that. You did as a child, you saw that, you recognized that, and that's what you thought. So again, L2S for that one. Is that correct? Oh, okay. What else? Actions. Depressed. Yeah, we said that. So you get depressed. Do you get depressed? Okay. And answer Chrissy, yes, Chrissy, you can. There's a fear of judgment. So you get depressed and there's a fear of judgment. Okay. The fear of judgment. Can you ready to heal that? No, understand that's kind of linked to what you're healing. And if you heal those and you still feel like the fear of judgment come up, then you're going to have to make a private reading or, get onto one of the shows and we can do this again. And yeah, there's a lot of instability. No, it's connected to that. So again, when you're doing R1S, also feel like that everything's unstable, just like it quivers. Because when you look at it, I want you to calm it down. Okay. Good job, Gaia. Chrissy, we've been looking for you, sweetheart. Strangest thing is that I can't tell in my PayPal whether or not I did not look back far enough because I can't remember. I think you paid for a reading for $7. And did you pay again? Did you pay twice? I just need to clarify this because I don't know. And yes, you can pay for a reading if you want. That's fine. Let me look. Now, what's interesting, when I'm giving a reading to people, it will sound similar to you because one of the templates things that we have is that we're all archetypes. We have all of these things that we go through, and we all know about emotions. So if you see to yourself going, oh, I kind of feel that way, and I just gave a healing tool, you use the healing tool on yourself. It's not going to hurt. It will actually help. And certain things that remembrance of the past, you were meant to be on the show to listen to it, and because it's supposed to trigger something for you, if that makes any sense. Okay. Now, Chrissy, Just to let you know, we have to figure out yeah, I'll have to look because I don't know if I owe you 7 or if that's part of the old thing. Either way, if you want a reading, you can pay and we'll work out the other part and ahead of time. So Sonia is next. Sonia Bees. Okay. I'm not sure exactly how that's paid, Sonia, but like if you pay through the link, then they won't take money out. But I don't know how you're paying or whether you're paying it's not a service, but a product. But they take out a hefty fee every time. You're not the only one. Other people do it. But I know when they use different links and like that, not everybody it happens. So Sonia, and then James is next, and after James is Christina. Okay. Now I got to get the right screen. Okay. Sweetheart, what would you like? Marie, what would you like? What do you want me to talk about? What do you want? You can call. We can just do a cold. You can tell me what you want. Oh, you're doing fine. The old link's perfect. Don't change. From the old link. Really? That doesn't make sense because that link has always worked. I don't understand. Okay, never mind. We'll figure that out. So what do you want to work on? Let me know. And remember, anyone who want a free read, regardless if you can stay or not, if you wrote me, I'll do it. And it'll go on to the big screen. And then you can look it up. You just have to be patient enough to look through it. I'm not going to remember the timestamps. Now, could you just get random? You got it, sweetheart. All right, so Spirit knows that the issue that you're going through, it is continuous. And I'll say, have you grown? Yes. Is there anything we can do to help her really speed that along? Do another angle? Yes. Okay. So if we were to look at how you feel attacked, attack. You need to attack. Oh, you need to attack. You are feeding them. Oh, just bear with me for a second. There's people I've met in my life that thrive on the response of negativity from people. When I began to realize this is how they got fed, I had to get rid of them out of my life because it was hurting me and not helping. Why should I feed them? And so do you feel like they push you to the point where you have to attack back? You got to be pushed to go be something you don't want to be? Does that sound correct? Because, okay, so this is what I'm seeing. You're sitting in your chair. You're laughing, you're joking. You're like, when we do that, we talk. And all of a sudden, the energy of the person comes in and they want attention, or they want to see if they can get your attention. I feel like a 3-year-old happens to walk into the room and kind of, I want to see if I can push a button. Okay. And then you explode. And when that happens, you then go, and you're just like, and they're like, well, why are you acting that way? And you're like, but that's what they wanted. You are giving them the results they want. Now, even though you're holding back, and let's say you're going to still be nice and you're going to overcome it. I don't want you to be an overcomer. I want you to heal your shit so that you don't have to hold that as a root. But overcoming is good to some degree. Now, you're holding it in. Your body is going to start taking a shit because when emotions go off that are less than love, that lower frequency causes a toxin. And if it stays in the body too long, your body will begin to respond very sickly. Okay. And like, for instance, people will work really hard and then they're going to go on vacation, and then they go on vacation and they have heart attacks and bad shit happen and all of this. or they feel like that they have to constantly work and then they're taking a day off and they got to punish themselves. Okay. Those emotions will kick your ass in many different ways. You be good. And all of a sudden, you can feel them doing it. You're like, I'm not participating. I'm not doing this. But they just, and all of a sudden your body will like starts producing these toxins of these emotions. And they said that the main thing that you're feeling is that you get very cloudy thinking, and then you can't help but to fall into it. They said that if we were to help pull the trigger that made you respond the way they wanted, then you could get stronger. And I said, okay, where do you want her to do for that? Okay, is that where you want her to hold? Is it not? Okay. Where did the happy go? Okay. So this is like when you're having a personal healing with me, I'll walk you step by step, which is you're happy. Okay. And then this all shit starts to happen. And then it starts to go. That right when it starts to go, that means your happy's going away. And right when it starts to go, I want you to focus there. And then you're going to watch how all of a sudden it leads to cloudy thinking. And then you're going to think cloudy thinking. You're thinking, but I can't think because I can't think. That is cloudy thinking. And you just have to understand how you do it. Now, your tool will be our 1D. Right wrist, first position, nice and deep. Okay. And you're going to do that, and you're going to hold that. And because it is in the aura, in the morphogenic field, in the spirit body, it's such a habit that you do. We want to pull it not only out of the strategy, but out of the program. And you got to catch when you go into that habit. So when this shit begins to happen, or it's coming, ooh, shit, it's coming. I need you to hold R1D, because when you know it's coming, okay, you're like, oh, it's coming, and you're holding R1D, you're going to look at your self-imposed limitations. I'm not participating this time, or I'm going to have to show my love. And this is where the old layers start to come up, because when you begin to heal that out, you're going to realize you craved that attention of love, and you're getting it, but it's actually driving you crazy. So when you come to the realization that, fuck, I just wanted love, I wanted some attention, but I don't really want it because I hate it, you're going to then hold R2S, nice and soft. And you're going to go, and you're going to think about that. And you're going to like, fuck, because it shows up as despair. And you're going to start healing the other part of the perspective. Okay. You can do this. Again, if not, you know how to find me. And you know how to set an appointment and would go that route. When? So the panic is when you see it coming. The panic is even before you see it coming. Okay. So it's like you're sleeping. You wake up to start your day, and you start, your body, not your mind, your body's consciousness will start to kick in. And it's like, oh my God, I'm panicking because I know the same shit, different day. Oh my God. Okay. Because that's going to happen, then they said you go to that level, which is then R2, but it's deep, okay? Nice and deep. Remember, there's a difference between R2S, it's soft. That's, oh shit, it's coming, to R2D, deep, which is, my body is screaming because it knows it's got a same shit, different day. I hope that makes sense. Worthless. Who? You, them. They just said that you believe that you don't want them to feel like a worthless piece of shit, like you were felt, and you've made a declaration, I'm not going to do that to anybody. And by doing that declaration, you put that energy into it, and that's why you have unhealthy boundaries. That's why they can do what they're doing. That's why it doesn't matter what the fuck you say, because they're just going to keep doing it. You got to reclaim that power. And the energy of the body then will say, what are you doing? Instead of you going, what are you doing? Or you're like, oh, what are you doing? You're out of alignment with your energies. It doesn't mean you have to become a bitch. It just means own your power so that it can create a boundary, so that this is the beginning of how they're going to know you is she's owning her shit. She is holding her power. She is there. Okay. Wow. This is deep, Marie. Apparently you're really ready to reclaim that power. You're going to have to hold R2S nice and soft and think about that. I don't want to hurt anybody. And then feel how oh my God, I just, because I know what it feels like to be worthless, and then focus on the worthless. Okay. And then just until you get that out. Now, that one's a little trickier, but you can do it. You can take a big chunk out of it anyway. Make a big difference if that makes sense to you. Okay. Let me see. Spirit is showing me blue. Why are you showing me blue? All on Marie. Hold on. All right. Blue because of... So you're shaming yourself. They said fear and shaming. So is that misplaced loyalty? Oh, you're not loyal to yourself. So you're misplacing the loyalty. You're giving it to the person. Oh, wow. Marie, this is huge. This is the bullshitter, the people that were mean to you when you were growing up, and you put this onto yourself to keep yourself safe. They said that needs to go, and they said R1S. You're going to have to re-listen to this last part because it is so there. It's right there. And listen to it again, because they said that there's extra gems. When you begin to hold the point, re-listen to it. Because you are, it's right there. Wow, they gave you a ton of stuff that usually not that much during a healing, or you get to heal yourself. But I know you can do it because I've seen you do marvelous things to you, for yourself. Okay, now, yes, because and then that you just got to reclaim your power. That was really good. I need to find James. James, you need to give me what you want to talk about. Okay. Okay. So let me know, James, what it is that you want your reading to be, because you're next. And I need to get back to the right screen. God, I'll be glad when I get my new glasses. Contacts just don't cut it for me. I don't like the old ones because I can't see out of them anyway. Scroll, Brenda, scroll. There's James. Paid. Why am I so... Dang it. Okay. We're going to look at the mothership on this and see what happens. My life has been... Okay. So James says, why am I so dang attached to Jamie? Okay, he's been working on different things. Now, I'm going to ask, all of the healing tools that I give, have you brought them down to 0? Yes, you've done very good for yourself. Now we have to look at a particular thinking. He says, everything I'm doing to get my life together has been stopped, dead in my tracks. Why? Interesting. Okay. Oh, okay, so I'm seeing a very much of a peasant days. But you came riding in on a horse in that life. Somebody, see, now what's funny is wow, she's taking the same attribute as she did then. Because she's like, I don't need any help, blah, 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 blah. She seemed very nasty and narcissistic then. And energy right there in that past life. she's trying to save herself because women were really nothing then. Okay, so in that life, she feared for her life. You guys have traveled many times together. At least 3, not many, I guess 3. Well, okay, keep going. You found beauty in her because of your archetype of being a hero in that life. And I feel like you prettied her up and she, got cleaned up. She didn't look like a peasant. You kind of helped her give it a name. But she went further because she got a taste of that, and her eye was set on something else. Now, why does that matter in this life? Because of what James has to heal from that life. Is this more of a Kundalini thing? It is part of the mothership. During in the third chakra, in your level of consciousness of I can't hold my power when it comes to her. Well, that would make sense. And it has to do with blame. You're taking it, you're giving it. She's taking it, she's giving it. No. There's some other story going on. Let me figure it out. No. What about here? Oh my God. You have great pleasure in being abused. And in that life, you had great pleasure of being abused. I mean, you're repeating that cycle. And it didn't make sense then, and you're still doing it because it's very expansive. So it means great. Is it? Okay. Great pleasure and expansive spiritual wisdom and conscious of the university of life. Okay. This life, you don't like to be abused, and you're ready to move on. That life, it meant in the paradigm that this woman loves you. It's so effed up back then. Just putting it out there. So back then, that your past life is showing me you loved to be abused because the belief system back then was that women, if they reject you, that means they want you. It is so screwed up back then. And no matter how much she hurt you, damaged you, you're like, I still love you. But it was like a chase. It was part of the chase. It's part of that caveman chase. And when that happens, the energy of it is that it's old. Now, you're tired in this lifetime. You're like, I don't want to chase anymore. I didn't want to do this anymore. So we have to look at how your past life is affecting your cloudy thinking today. So does it show up as a paradigm in that way? It shows up as a classic. What are you talking about? I'm not insulting you. It just says a classic nincompoop. I have no idea what that means. It's just that she is your false self-assuredness. When in this life you were starting to evolve and become a grown-up and being more responsible, she gave you a support enough that it made you feel like you could do it. So she gave you assuredness, but it was false self-assuredness, okay? You guys worked together until you didn't. You don't want to lose that assuredness that you felt and you had in the beginning of the relationship. So even though it doesn't work anymore, there's a party that doesn't want to lose that. And so you then go back and you romanticize and think of all of her good qualities, and you talk yourself into going back only based on the fact that it has to do with I have false self-assuredness about our relationship, but it's also false self-assuredness that she gave me confidence, and I don't want to lose that confidence. And they're saying you have to let go of that connection of feeling like you have to, I would define what assuredness is and understand false self-assuredness is that, like self-justification, talking yourself into it. Look up self-justification. Either way, you're going to hold R1S, okay? Right wrist, first position, soft. Do you want him to think that? No. Okay, for the Kundalini one and the ninth chakra and the situation is that notice how you felt empowered when you saved her. You felt empowered when she would reject. Now, you may not remember that, but deep down, maybe your body does. Because of that, they're saying they want you to do R, number 2, see, 2D, R2D. And you kind of have to put yourself into an imaginary state because I know your body knows this energy. I really do. Okay. So it's important to understand how you do that. And you, again, measure it, get it down to 0. Because it was in that state of the R1S that created overtime that it's just hopeless to let go. So you got stuck in a loop that this is never going to end. This is never going to end, Does she use, she does she use shame? I'm sure she does. But does she use shame in a way that she thinks that it empowers her? Okay, it doesn't feel like an outward shame. Okay. Because the shame aspect in this case is that when she does it, you don't recognize it, which then hooks you back in because it hooks into the things of the past life. If you were to recognize how she says what she says in a shameful way, and then you're like, oh, she just did it, then you're going to hold R1D, okay, nice and deep. But that's what you focus on. Oh, she just did it. And then feel it. Oh, did you see that? The camera just froze. And then you're going to hold that point, okay? Yeah. Who? You have some past life spirit friends that is saying, you can do it, mate. Oh, what are you, Australian too? Yeah. You have past life friends, spirit friends. Oh, I love this world. But it's clear and simple. You can do this because you have people from your past life that is helping you. You have your loved ones that you knew from this life helping you. You have your past selves. You have, many people helping you. Okay. Let me see. You might want to pick up, now a little doggy just came up to me and says, give him a stone. Take something like a stone or something something small, a gem, a crystal. Your sister's got a ton of them, whatever. And just have something to remind you. Rub it. Put all you're grateful for. You're grateful for. You're grateful for. You're grateful for seeing what she just did. You're like, oh, I saw it. Be grateful that you have healing tools. Grateful that you want something more. Grateful that, and it's about receiving, okay? It's grateful I caught it. It's grateful that I am doing things for myself. Stuff that you've received. Keep using this, okay? You're grateful. You're grateful. What else? Look it up. Sometime, if you get very confused, pull that stone out and understand you've got this. Make that stone mean something. You've got this. Make it's going to be like a constant reminder, especially when you start to wander. You've got this. Let it be a reminder. Okay? Thank you for honoring me. All right, so the next person, I'm going to sneeze, is Christina Peacock. And then after Christina will be Autumn Hale. And after Autumn will be Crystal Allen. And then after that will be Cecilia Garcia. I always want to say your name wrong every time, girl. You know that. But, you know, I love you. So, Christina Peacock, you had asked, welcome, James. You had asked, what am I needing to heal from that I can't remember or am repressing? Also, I think I accidentally paid twice last time. However, you want to make it work. Okay, we'll work that out. I can do something. My ex already. No, that my ex doesn't do anything else. Okay, so we need to know that they know what you want. Gotcha. Okay, so I'm just listening. Okay. The word catch-22 comes into play. Does this make sense right now? Catch-22? I can't even remember what a catch-22 is. Isn't that funny? It's like damned if you do and damned if you don't. Huh. Catch-22. I'm going to stop this real quick. Those of you who have having trouble paying, understand that there is a link. I know Amy pointed out that you sometimes can't see what I wrote above, but here is a direct link to my PayPal. You should be able to just click that, put money into it, unless you have to say what country. If I live in Australia, if you came from the U.S., you can still pay in U.S. That's not a big deal. You can pay in Australia. I know how that can be confusing, AUD, but there's a link right there to answer any of your issues. So, Virginia Floros, notice that I put a link up right there. Okay, and it's a PayPal link. Now I'm going to get back to Chrissy. Thank you very much for waiting. Okay, Chrissy. All I hear is, I don't know what that is. It like wants to cut off my ability to stay centered, stay happy. It's and I'm asking, is it a din? No. Is there a electromagnetic tower? Is there? This was within herself. Oh, what the heck? Is her electromagnetic frequency up? No. What are you trying to tell me? She has a mega belief, and that belief is being affected by, which affects her radiant circuits. Oh, gotcha. And it affects her spectrum. So we have our own electromagnetic energy here. And then you have electromagnetic frequency of the world. Somehow a belief somehow affects you to protect yourself from those energies. And according to this, you have a belief that's doing that. Radiant circuits or strange flows, let me just explain what it's really doing. Radiant circuits are our joys. It's the energy of joy that comes in. Okay, we are hardwired for joy, but yours is disrupted by a belief, okay, that changes electromagnetic frequency. And we have to figure out this belief because it causes you to hang down in the lower frequency energies, which lowers your vibration. Even though you're doing everything, you pull yourself up by the bootstraps, it's not working. Like, for instance, people's energy, sometimes they'll feel like their lower half of their body doesn't exist, and or it just feels like no energy is flowing through there. That's the belt flow energy that goes to the strange flows. There's the radiant circuits that have to do with the yin and yang regulatory. Now they're saying this cuts all of those off, which means that joy energy is not feeding you the way you're supposed to be fed. Joy radiant circuits feed you. You understand this, people? It helps you do everything you possibly can. Okay, so now we're looking a little bit further. Now we need to find this belief. Okay, was this belief created in this lifetime? Thank God. Does it have to do with anything with epigenetics, genetic, past life, this time? And so then this means you picked it up in the environment. So you saw it from where particularly? From the family. So inside the family, the belief formed. Is this a paradigm? No. I heard, where's my place? Is that a belief that we're looking for? No, you don't know where you're fit in. No, you do. You just, it's like you have the role. They're showing me the role. You could have the role of the gesture or whatever it is. But they says they know, you know your role. But sometimes you feel like you don't belong. And that's because you were born to stand out. It's like you're trying to fit into a puzzle that you're not meant to fit. But yet this is part of the family that you're supposed to be in. And this is where people get very confused, because when you are in a situation where you are born into a family and your soul chose them, but yet there is not a lot of connections. The thing is that you chose them not about love. You chose them about the issues you need to resolve from. Okay. You're empathetic too. Okay. And if you came in with that, then that would make sense, is that you're supposed to gather and understand different points of view. Okay. And you're coming out of it, girl. You are. It's just that you have got to understand that we got to figure out this belief system so that you can let the strange flows come in, so that you can start to get yourself into a different position. Okay. They help support you and change you. Now, the whole part inside of me is changing. It's quivering. So that means my body is creating a physiology response. I want to get a headache now. So when you are an empath and you understand their points of view, then your body goes into great stress because it knows that that's not you, but you can't stop it. So that's part of that belief. So does this part of the belief have to do with where you end and they begin? So have you taken on a lot of their beliefs? And are we looking at one of those? Oh. Just give me more information. Oh, that's easy to talk about. Okay. So I was married before, and the energy was sloth. No physical exercise. Let's not do anything. Let's not go anywhere. And that's not how my body was built. But I was in that, and my body started to fall apart. Then I ended up in a different relationship, which is I'm married to now. And the energy is very energetic. Okay. So you're talking about different elements. The sloth was more like earth, which is slow and moving, where this is fire, which is boom, boom, boom. And my body is happier and healthier that I'm here. Okay. So they said the word sluggish for your family. And that is energetically, you get very frustrated. And so they're saying that you look and I want you to say, if you're judging that that's them and they're sluggish and that they're not making anything themselves or blah, 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 it's not about them. You're meant to look at that and go, I can take the catalog of life and say, that ain't it. Oh, that could be it. And it's not that you're choosing the grass is greener on the other side. You are choosing more of, my true identity is this. Okay. So if you believe that you can't get out of that, tap it out. If you believe that this is all there is, tap it out. If you believe that you have to honor this, tap it out. You can love, but you don't have to be swallowed alive. You can love, but you don't have to live the way everybody else lives. Okay. It is moving in that particular direction you want. Now, when you start to tap those out, it could actually bring back the joy, the strange flows that your body wants. They said the biggest thing that you have picked up as a belief is that it's hopeless. Overtime hopeless. Just give it up. It's just hopeless. You need to define that word in your daily life. When you look at people, you think they're hopeless, or you think of your life, you can't get ahead, you're hopeless. Oh, no matter what I do, it just goes back to this. It's hopeless. How you define it. And every avenue you do, you need to go in and you need to say, even though I see this as hopelessness, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Use EFT to be your Kickstarter to get this. You may even want to go on my website and download, you can watch the video and look at the instructions, and that's cord switching. Okay, the cord switching to your family, the cord switching to sloth, the cord switching to that belief that everything's hopeless. And because this goes on a different scale. See, now all of a sudden energy is starting to flow through. So they're saying that they like those two ideas, that if you were to engage and to release and to let go, you are going to become a happier, healthier soul. And you're going to let the strange flows come back to you. Okay? Yes. And I heard, yeah, this is damage control. Yes. Okay. You can do that. That's good. You need to go in and notice how the word, oh, I hate when that happens. Okay. It may just be some simple word, but it is very much registered. Why is my people, spirits, get behind me. Anyways, tap. Even though I hate this, you may not think you hate it, but if it's a word you use, even though I despise that attitude, get in there, get it out. You need to do several rounds. You need to get to zero, and you need to get it completely gone, because if you don't, you're going to have an issue all around. But you got to disrupt the frequencies in your body, because your inner world creates your outer world. And if that belief and those stuff are in there, I believe that I hate this, I believe that I don't like this, you need to heal that out so that you can change the frequency out here. Okay. This doesn't change until you inside change here. This is the objective field. This is subjective. And the out here doesn't change until you change in here. Now you can change this out here by connecting and meditating and tuning into that frequency, and your nervous system changes, but sometimes that's too hard for a person. So you go in and you change the programs. You got this. Thank you for honoring me. Okay. And I said that person is next is Autumn Hale. Identify yourself and tell me what it is that you want to talk about. Autumn Hale. After Autumn will be Crystal Allen, and then after Crystal will be Garcia, and then after that will be Jasmine, Jay-Z, and then Virginia. Okay. So getting back to Crystal Hale, or Autumn Hale. You're welcome, Chrissy. Autumn Hale, where are you, babe? There you are. What is it that you want me to look at, investigate? What would you want? Some spiritual investigation. What do you want? Okay. Let me know. I'll give you a few seconds to type that out. Your family says that they're here for you. They're not, you get one representative out of all people that are around, but they just wanted to say hi real quick. How to free myself. Okay. I would like to know how to free myself from the familiar weight that paralyzed me in fear. Ooh, good one. Okay. Something happened at 1 month old in the womb? No, out. So 1 month old. You made it at 1 month old in the environment. Is that where we're going? Environment? There was all this habits. And so the family that did all these habits set it up. This is how they worry. Okay, this is what they do. This is how they bully. This is how they have guilt and shame. Okay, so now you being a fresh baby, ooh, you knew that you were happy, but then you knew that if you were happy, it was very unsafe in the environment. How interesting is that? Huh. Are you having vivid dreams? The energy in that space is worthlessness. Okay. Now, as I'm looking, this is connecting to, and it says, if you know what you're paralyzed me in fear, okay, do you know what that is? And if so, I'm going to go directly there. The reason they said that is because if you want to release yourself from that, I would tell you use, see, this is where I'd say make an appointment with me so you know what I'm talking about when I say hope therapy. So in this case, I can't do that because I would tell you to hold on to L2D because they're saying you have the energy of knowing these pictures inside your mind, even if you don't dream them, exertion. You know what the energy of exertion is. Yeah, I'm sure you probably feel them in your nightmares. Okay, and it's they said it's how you know that you can feel it coming, and it's in the action that makes this fear more of a phobia, and that's creating the paralyzedness. Now, hope therapy would start to pull those out, but all I can tell you to do is that start tapping to disrupt that. Notice how it's exertion. Maybe putting your hand on your forehead, and when you start to feel, because you got to start to consciously recognize how your body's consciousness knows it. Okay. When the exertion of the energy happens, your body goes, oh shit, we got to correct yourself. And it goes into self-limitations and correcting yourself. And it puts you into paralyzation. Because you know you have to defend yourself, but you don't know how to defend yourself because you were so young that literally it just froze you in your tracks because that exertion of the power. Now, it may not even been physical. It could have been just booming of words, the booming of their attitudes, but they really are telling you about the word exertion. Now, in the household, it's like nobody could be allowed to be themselves. I feel like they had to be eggshells. I felt like they had to have it a certain way. It's like there was one person in command that it's like when you have a nice sheet on the bed and you grab and you twist and then the whole sheet, okay, that's what it looked like in the house. It's just one person. But you can feel this. And they said that I'm looking any other particular emotion that would lock it in so well. Overtime hopelessness, because you can't make it stop. Because you can't make it stop, and you know this, again, I would end up doing R1S because it's about overtime hopelessness. But what they said also is that you invalidate yourself first before they can. You're like, And even if you don't have that environment ever again, your body's consciousness knows that moment so well that it keeps reprogramming and saying, this is how you have to live. You have to survive. You have to survive. And we need to disrupt that program so that no matter where you're at, because no matter what safe environment you're in, your body is going to look for triggers. It's like, I mean, even in your dreams, your dreams are trying to help you understand. You may even want to hire me to look through your nightmares so that I can tell you on a soul level what that means. because your soul is trying to get your attention. When shit hits the fan, your soul is asking you, can you heal it now? You couldn't then. Can you heal it now? You didn't then. Can you heal it now? It literally will keep repeating itself because it wants you to resolve to evolve. Yeah, like Groundhog Day. Oh, geez. Okay, so if you have to be in that situation, you can still heal and evolve, and so that you can stop getting caught up into that, because you start, again, it's about how your body, oh, see, it's like, holy shit, I don't want to assimilate this. We have to help you heal how your body don't want to assimilate. It's starting to take my throat. The fear can feel like an attachment because you're attached to the emotion. You're attached to this frequency, and we have to get you to into those stages. EFT will be your best friend. Re-listen to this part, take it step by step, especially how you recognize the emotion, tap it down until you don't know it anymore. That way you're like, okay, it doesn't have to own me, it doesn't have to be in my face. You would benefit by looking at my website, and Amy can give you that website. And there's healing tools. Under healing tools, there's something called Pick Myself Off the Floor. And the healing tool of picking yourself off the floor is really what you need to do. You need to kind of go back in your mind to that day, or to whatever day, or whatever, because it's repeating itself. Your energy is on the floor. You need to pull that back up, reclaim yourself. Okay. Yeah. Definitely a healing there. Crystal Allen, you have paid, my dear. Can you tell me if there's any more negatives? Yes, I will look. Okay, Crystal, you've been waiting. I'm going now. First of all, I'm going to ask you, do you still hear them and know them the same way? Because if you do, we need to get you to unhook your attention, your sensory system from them, so that they can't have any power over you. Okay. Or you don't have to call any more in. Okay. Now, as we look, fuck. Your body is saying it's very fearful. So it's holding on a memory of fear. Okay. Now I'm going to just start to mirror the rest of your house. Your daughter's belief that she knows or sees one or thinks one, understand that she needs to detach from that, because if a person is not really using healing tools or not really into this, and then they're told something fearful, that fear is always going to be in their mind. And then they're going to start hearing and thinking things that are not there. You understand? Because a belief system can do a projection, and so there's just all this chaos in your space, but it's just based on your fears and your beliefs. Okay, old programs. Now I'm going through and I'm looking and I'm mirroring and I'm looking. You have a lot of light energy in certain spaces they're illuminating. They're helping to clear. I mean, literally, you're doing really good at your house. As I look at your back door, okay, it looks good. Now I'm just looking outside. I'm looking for ley lines through your house. Your fear of something in the roof, the attic, you have an idea, you have a thought, it's stuck there. Okay. And as I'm asking Archangel Michael and all of them to look at this, is there anything there? No. But she has a picture of scared fear. So what means is that you can create something out of nothing inside the head. I'm not trying to say it crazy. I'm just saying, oh my God, if you know what you imagine what it looks like, it's called the construction side. And the construction side, yes. Okay. She says, yes, I still do. You need to go and you need to heal that out. Okay. You need to tap how you know it. So you're looking at the picture. You're going to take in your eyes and look up keep your head still, look to the upper right. And you're like, oh, even though I still see them, Okay. And then you're going to look straight down to the left. And you're going to think, oh my God, I fear them. Okay. You're going to do emotional freedom technique. And then you're going to look up to the right again, tap it out, just keep doing several rounds. And you're going to have to do the long EFT, which is the rolling of the eyes, the humming, and the counting. We need to hook those pictures. Okay. Because you have a memory of what you've had, and then you're reconstructing it, but your brain does not know because it looks at a mirror. So your brain does not know anything about what you tell it. Your brain only knows what your beliefs are and what you tell it. So if you start to disrupt those things inside of you, then your inner world starts to change, and then you stop this out here. Okay. There's a lot of different beliefs and philosophies and people out there that have. I'm telling you to come from it from this angle. It's worth a try. It's not even worth a try. It's worth it, because I can tell you, the more that you get to disconnect all those pictures and those feelings that are negative and scary and fearful, then what happens is that you bring in more light, and your light expands out. What do you do when you go into a dark room? You turn on the light. The light doesn't die, or the dark doesn't die. It just starts to infuse it. When I'm helping people to heal those goobers, you turn on the light switch in that area. And that light switch is the light of love. It's a high frequency. And literally things will begin to change. Okay. So I would say, do I physically see the goobers, physically at your house? No. Do I see constructed fear that anything can return? Yes, you have one. Do I see that you have other people that you talk to, and they finally get you and understand you, and they're holding on to things? Yes. It's just, you've got to stop the belief. Remember, when you accepted and believed, you gave your willpower, and then it creates. You have to go in and you have to disrupt it. I think you said attic. I can't see. Are you talking about Natic? I'm assuming attic. Yeah, your energy. I see how you have fear that there's something up there. Okay, this is that. It's like, it's all of the nooks and crannies that you can't physically see. And people will say, it's not there, and you can argue, because you're like, if I could record the proof, then you would know. But understand is that even if you believe they're there, and even if other people say they're there, I'm telling you, if you take your energy field and you disconnect it from them, they got nothing to hold on to. And then you can go and do a house clearing if you have to go further, but you've done a lot of those. I'm looking at all the light even in that one part of your house is actually going into the attic. You have all of these barriers. It looks good. Anyway, the next person is Garcia. And did she write anything down? Nope. Miss Garcia, where are you at? So get your question up, what you want, Miss Garcia. Whoops. Nope, she didn't write it there. And just double checking. No matter what, if you sent me an email and you can't stay, I'm going to still give you that 1 minute free read, and then it's your responsibility to come back and pay attention to the time of the show. And then, it's towards the end. I'm going to do it that way. Okay. Oh, forgot. I think you said 11. Hold on. And now I'm in the wrong one. Good one, Bryn. Yeah, she paid 11. Yeah, we're good. I would love a healing, and what tools to use to develop more of my intuition. I've been feeling strange and my dogs wake up at 2 a.m. for the last 2 weeks. Okay, ready? Talk to me, dog. And the dogs. Do you have any neighbors? The reason why I say that is because the reason I say that is because even if you do, those dogs are very sensitive. They're picking up negative energy from the neighbors. Now, it doesn't mean the neighbors are going to do anything. I don't feel like they're going to hurt, break ins, nothing. It's just these dogs are very sensitive, and the one dog says it's there, it's right there, but it's hearing and it's knowing this lower frequency of whoever there is a negative person. A negative person. How many? Just one. And the dog's very sensitive. Now, why are they choosing two? They're not. The universe is causing them to do this because they want you to pay attention to something. Okay, what do you want her to pay attention to? And, you have to fill your quota. So I need to ask, do you feel like people have to make you feel like shit, or you feel like shit, you just made to feel like shit? Does that make sense? Because yes. Now here's the thing. The reason I say that is because if you haven't done a good job of making yourself feel like shit that day, you've got to have it show up. So for instance, you're like, oh man, I got to go work tomorrow. And I feel like shit. Okay. And you just didn't fulfill your quota, then that may have to make you feel like shit. The dogs will start to bark. For whatever reason, we know it's the neighbor, but Spirit says we make them bark because you haven't stopped believing that you're helpless and that shit happens and you're made to feel like shit. And making you feel like shit is part of your journey. It's part of your strategy. It's part of who you are. So just, does that sound familiar to you? Now, they said, okay, we're going to read what you wrote again. So I feel like, okay, so that's that. When it comes to your intuition, you have to recognize when it's cloudy thinking. Okay? When I'll have somebody, they're holding their point, well, I don't know what cloudy thinking thinks like. I can't think. Uh-huh. That's it. You just told yourself what to do. Now, you're right. You do have it's like, I don't need to tolerate this, but you have an indifference shield. It's not the same as putting a heart wall on, but it's like an indifference shield. And this indifference shield happens, okay? It's right here. And if you stay indifferent, you're going to be fine. But if you start to let your guard down, you will begin to panic. This actually interferes with your intuition because you're still living in your ego. So how many things is she over-identifying with that causes this? 2. The first one that you over-identify with is suspicions. Do you believe in suspicions, my dear? Because if you believe in the suspicions, all of a sudden my eyesight's out of focus. Oh, well, that's an example. That makes a lot of sense. So if you believe in suspicions, you need to heal that. Where would she need to hold? They're saying, hold up. Okay, I'm holding up. Your suspicions creates a false self-assuredness. If I think this, therefore and it's a false self-assuredness. So they say they want you to notice that you need to heal false self-assuredness. Is that the two things? Oh, where do you want her to go? Because those two agree with the fact that you believe that you're irrelevant in the matter. Can you see how this connects together? So you're going to hold R2D. Right wrist, second position, nice and deep. And you're going to think, oh, I feel irrelevant. Oh, but that's based on the fact that I have suspicions. Oh, think about suspicions. But then that has to do with, oh, I got to have false self-assuredness. I got to make myself feel assured of myself. And then you go on from there. Does this make sense? Okay. Because you created that so that you would take action to stand up for yourself. But as you begin to evolve and want to include your spiritual self and you want to move into the next part of yourself, the action has to be, the foundation of that action has to be completely different, which means you have to heal how you created that to survive. And once you resolve that out, then you can take that energy back to create better. Now, is there anything else specific for that intuition that she needs to remove? No. All right, now talk to it. Okay. They said that you feel that you stored. What about the compatibility? You stored something inside of you that affects it could affect your health, it could affect your life because it's a program. But you stored a specific emotion deep inside that affects your compatibility. And that is that you feel you have to correct yourself. You have to correct yourself, okay? It's in that feeling of how you got to correct yourself that creates an anxiety. So as soon as you feel it, I got to correct myself, then there's things of anxiety that takes over. And then you go into the conscientious of right and wrong. And then you have a battle whether you want to do it your way, their way, right way, wrong way, whatever. You just, okay? And then you begin to stifle yourself, and then people call you stubborn. What I just said. You're going to heal that. And you're going to go to R, number 2, S. Okay. What? Did I just confuse her? No, confusion. Somebody put you in confusion? Somebody put you in confusion. Is it the part of that making feel like shit? So you put yourself in confusion? Now they want you to heal that I have to make myself feel like shit. So you put yourself in a state of confusion, and then you go into I have to make myself feel like shit. So all the things we just said lead up to that, which affects your intuition. Yes, I can see that. Okay, so how would you like her to heal this? You don't want to feel awkward. And so it's just easier to check out and put yourself in confusion. Because you do that because you can feel, and I'm not even going to tell you, it's that person that does resonant broadcasts. They broadcast their bullshit out, and you don't want to, come and sync with that. You're like, I don't need to come and sync with that. But you can't help it. Your body's like, I got to obey. And you're like, no. And so then you don't like that awkward feeling, and you put your state of self in confusion. You're like, oh, make me feel like shit. And they tell you that you really need to hold L2S. 1, 2, nice and soft. Because they said that's all linked to how you got to live their life their way. Okay? They're getting really detailed in this show, aren't they? Have you been having any vivid dreams lately? Because they said that it might be about, okay, so I don't know. They're just going to be, they're conscientious, you're self-conscious, conscientious about it. It's If so, then they're saying that is trying to tell you where your happiness is going, like it disappears. So you may want to send me, I do dream interpretations, it's the same cost as anything else. So, but with dream interpretations, I may lower the price, but usually people will get a 15-minute dream interpretation. I may just put, because normally dream interpretations, because they require me hours of working on it. I don't know yet, but anyway, you really should look at it. It's not what you think it means. Vivid dreams about dead ones. Yeah, it's not about what it means. You need to know more information about that. And they said that you're doing really well, and they're proud of you. So yes. Okay. Well, thank you very much for honoring me. Wow, they're really getting detailed today, aren't they? Please pay attention if you want a reading or anything like that. It is pinned down below that you can send me an email, and I'll give you 1 minute free read. But only one question. You should only get 1 minute time. You want a healing? You are a paid expedite reading. Then look at the up above. Jazz, you're next. Tell me what you want. And then after Jazz, Virginia Flora. So get your question. Oh, she already told me. Oh, well, goody. Somebody wrote it in there. Yay. If you can write your question inside, that would be wonderful. Jazz. All right, Miss Stunner. What do you want to talk about, sweetheart? And Amy, I'm not sure you're at, but you need to correct a couple of my pins, please, and answer the question over here. Angela Allen, what we're doing now is, I don't know if you sent it or not, but if you want your free read, because it's so hard for me to see lately, Spirit said just have you email me a reading, or email me your question, and I'll give you 1 minute free read. Yeah, I know. Thank you, Virginia. I appreciate that. I did see that. No, this is 11-minute, Jazz. I'm just waiting. Because 11 minutes you can get a lot more out of it. If you wrote what you wanted to talk about, okay, so that's hard. I gotta go find it. Jazz, did you write it? Jazz. Oh, there you are. So you want to talk about your love life? Because that can be your 1 minute, and we can talk about something else. Oh, okay. Great love, business, kids. Thanks. Okay. Yes. All right. Let's see here. Miss Jazzy. Ooh. Wow. Wow. Are you seeing in 5D? But your body's not adjusting. Okay. It's a lot to take in because a lot more information is coming in. Okay, like I did a healing last night, and now they're getting detail with major detail. We got to get you in sync for one, because that for some reason seems to be affecting every part of you, your love life, your kids, business, whatever. It's affecting the journey that you're on. So we got to recalibrate you. They said that they expanded of the 5D. Now, do you feel like you worry about that to some degree? Because, where is it? Right, there he is. Actually seeing visions before, yeah. So the question then becomes, do you feel like your body is not calibrated? So I'm going to stop this just for a second. Fran, yes, your email had come, and I will be given a free reading. So if you have to go, you can go. more reassured, but still a bit surprising. Okay. All right. Well, anyways, they said that what do you have guilt for? You have guilt because you have these abilities coming in? No. The word guilt came up because you're not living up to some people's standards. Do you know what I'm talking about? Well, should I wait for that? She says, feel like I just have to get used to it, but loving the extra awakening. Good. Feeling more like trusting the universe, and it pays off. Very good. You're welcome, Fran. So we need to know, is there somebody, maybe work? Was it work? Is it yourself? There's a little bit of the work, but there's, what about the people, the family that wanted to put you in a home or wanted to do something? I don't know how to explain that. Why do you want to go there? Because she was talking. Okay, because she has guilt. Guilt because she's awakening. You have guilt because you're awakening, and you should be. You're still doing the shoulds about how you're supposed to live your life. Oh, okay, yeah, got a bit of friction with them. Yes. Even if you don't talk to them, or even if you don't share this, even if you don't understand, you are in a space where your body already has this in play, how you already respond to them. So it's like an automatic response. So even if you don't talk, it's going to be this automatic response, okay? And then your body goes into panic that they won't let go, let that, they won't let it go. They won't let it go. They won't let go who Jazzy's becoming. They won't let it go. Oh, wow. Is it because of the paradigm? All right, let me see if I can explain this and see if it sounds like it. When you have the old paradigm, the Bible Belt, old belief systems that you're going to die and go to hell if you act a certain way, which is different than the way the cookie cutter world says that you should live because there's too much evil on the planet, or that you're going to be thrown in the nut house, or that how dare you be less. Just follow along just for a moment. You really decided that you're going to wake up and you were born to stand out, Jazz. Let's just face that. You already know that. And some people can't get their head around it, and they refer to you as bad or a bad influence, or bad. There's just some, your gifts and your abilities, they just don't understand. Okay? They just don't understand. And the confusion is what your body is being bothered about, because you're willing to live who you are, because you can't ignore it anymore. Spirit has said, wake up, Jazz, wake up. And you're like, I can't put that genie back in the bottle. Nor should you have to. You got to get to the point where you act mean now, or they think you're acting mean, but it's causing this particular friction. So you're basically hooking yourself up to an old paradigm that's not who you are. You need to go out and find who you are. You need to find out who your friends are. You need to get more in touch with those like-minded groups. And I'm not talking about the crazy ass ones, or the ones that are deep into the fear, or the deep into the goobers, or in the deep into the magic spells and deep. I don't think that's your avenue. I don't go down that road. You don't have to either. the movie All About Steve is something that I would tell you to look at. You need to find and appreciate all the things that are beautiful about you, because you are amazing. And you will then find more of your purpose, because where you're at, it's hard for you to keep assimilating all of the things that's happening to you, because your body is saying it has to do with them. Now, sometimes you can feel their aggression and stuff like this. We worked together before. I would definitely tell you to hold L2D, left wrist, second position, nice and deep, and hold that. How you feel about them, which they love you, but you're like, how can that even be called love? And it feels like you failed to communicate and demonstrate and say, this is who I am. You're going to go R2D, which is right wrist, second position, nice and deep. Remember to put them on a scale from 0 to 10. And there's a part of the word disdain. Need you to look that up, like contempt and stuff, but look that word up, how it is defined, because there's a part of you that you have to go back in part of your life where you used to disdain being disgraced, disdained of how they treated you, or disdain for certain behaviors. There's disdain, whatever it is, you look for it. And they said, because you need to get that out, you then would hold R2D as well on that one. Okay. When it comes to your love life, you're so busy with that energy, you don't have time for a love life. And all I can say is that once you start to break those down, you'll be becoming more open to a love life. Okay. And we're going to ask Spirit more about this love. Well, God bless it. I don't need that to happen. Oh, well, we'll take this one. There's a part of you that has to make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. So the more you fall in love with yourself in the aspect of, I love the fact that I love flowers, or I like to sing, or I like to do this. You fall in love with that. It's okay to like myself. It's okay to love myself. It's okay. And then you make the effort of, just being yourself, putting yourself out there. And they really don't want you to have cards today. God. Okay. Are you telling me to put this deck down? Okay, fine. Freaking won't hold the deck then. Yeah, you just have to deal with some of that awkwardness. You're like, you're focusing too much on wanting kids, that it's causing you to miss the point. Okay, it's so you have to heal the fact is that, oh my God, so is there a yearning, longing? There's a desperation. I would hold R1S, right wrist, first position, nice and soft. You feel like you're running out of time. I can't figure it out. Hold R3S, the third one, nice and soft, because that's where it's going. You got to go. Sometimes you get very indecisive because your brain goes into, oh my God, I don't have this or whatever. In that indecisiveness, it's caught up in the triple warmer, and you just feel you go into unworthy, insecure, R3S for that as well. We need to get you to stop those little bit of a program so that it can realign you up to having the things that you want in your life. Okay. Because what you think you want and what's being coming is more than it's so exciting. But if you keep thinking you have to be here, you're not lining yourself up to what you need. That can be a bit issue thing there. Okay. Fear of letting go of what? Of the idea of having kids. All right. Fear of letting go of the L2D. Left wrist, second position, nice and deep. Get rid of those because they are just going to interfere with you having what you want. Thank you, Diana. So we're going to go into the next one, which is Virginia. And she says, I would like a reading regarding what level of consciousness I'm at and what I need to work on still. If not possible, then it's just a message I need to know. All right, so what level? Now understand the level of consciousness are the chakras. Okay, you got your first 7. You're always going to be working through your 8, which is the archetypes, and then you have the ninth, which is part of the Kundalini, which is connected to the mothership of these big, major effing issues. So they're saying that as your Kundalini is waking up, we're going to go right to the first chakra, because they said that the Kundalini is being disrupted. So it's not able to flow the way it's supposed to. So you inside, I'll get there. And each of these chakras have nesting. It has like the 7 chakras inside that first chakra is the 7 chakras. And the way we communicate is that it's how, how are you surviving with your spiritual abilities? How are you surviving with the family? How are you surviving with yourself? So as I'm looking a little deeper for yourself, they said that it's the will, understanding your will and your intention with your heart. Okay. So what they're saying is when you're in the dynamics of this is my space, this is my boundaries. If you don't have any, you're going to be asked to study them. If you are beginning to open up your heart, but yet you have a lot of shields up, then you're going to have to remove those shields. And people are scared by not understanding that. They will think, well, I need those protections. Well, they were created by the ego, which, it's you don't need the ego to be in charge of you. Your true authenticity, your spirit, you need to be in charge of you. You understand? The resonant broadcast that comes off of you. Interesting. Is demonstrated and comes out of the root chakra. That is says, what does it say? It's a habit. You use your will to do that, and that is to believe that you're holding your power. So the root chakra is that I have to hold my power. Now the power center is in the 3rd. And the things with the heart are through the heart chakra. So your first chakra, let's just come out and say it. What is it you need to work on that to help you got to stop being in a silent brooding? So do you silently brood? Meaning, somebody makes you mad and you're just like, you can't stop thinking about it. You're mumbling on your breath. There's just this steaming, seething, silent brewing. Okay. And then there are a part of you then when that happens, you're like, I want to repulse. I don't want you near me. Get the fuck away. Now that's the broadcast message. It's only to that when it only kicks in. It's not always constant, but it's there. It's just like when that occurs, you then go into the thinking process of I have to survive. Okay. And as you feel like you got to survive, then you can't get your level of consciousness to operate through the heart or through the spirit mind. So then you have to wait for this to calm down. By the time it calms down, you feel like you've missed so many opportunities. And we're going to break this. Okay. To help you address it is notice that you have to start to write down when that occurs. What limitations do you put on yourself? Well, I'm not going to talk to them. They don't deserve my opinion. Asshole. It's a limitation. You see them there. You also have to say, I have to see them as however it is they're choosing to show up. If they're choosing to overpower you, constantly look over your shoulder, tell you the bullshit, talk until you go nuts, you need to write down how they show up, because you are conditioned as a little girl That's the way they have to show up. And because of that, you gave your willpower and a belief that that's the way they have to show up, that you become in this endless cycle that it won't stop. Do you understand? You need to disrupt that. Okay? Because then as you're sitting here, there's a part of you without realizing builds up resentment. And then another part of you then says, what about me, asshole? You know, it's just, and you, but it's the program. We need to disrupt that program. We need to disrupt how you believe that they have to show up that way. And they're saying that's fine, you know. They will turn around and call you stubborn, or you see them as stubborn. But because we haven't worked together, I can't really give you information about, I don't think we've worked together. Anyways, I would use hope therapy, but I would tell you to take what I just said and tap it out, even though I have to see them that way. I deeply, completely love and accept myself. So you're going to go through that routine and you do several rounds. And remember, you're worth it. Just keep doing it. Sometimes our ego says, fuck no, this is my, and this is where you enjoy being in a shit, is because you're like, you can get my power. Well, you just gave them power without realizing it. Okay? You want to stop that process. Yes. You, them. Oh, you have to know when you're going into ego. Okay? It's like when I teach people to understand this, it is when you are over-identifying with matter. When you are over-identifying with matter, you will be more emotional, more attached. It's the attachments that make the pictures and the beliefs and things that occur, if that makes any sense. It will cause you to keep repeating the cycle. Yes, is where I get confused. Yes, because this is where you get confused. Well, here's the thing. When this pattern's happening, you will get confused. When you are trying to understand that you over-identify, it's the emotions. Okay? It's like, I love purple. So I bought this shirt because I bought with my heart. I love purple. And if somebody told me that it made me look awful, I would then look at it and go, what are they talking about? And then I would convince myself that I see what they see, and that confuses me. And then I would probably throw this shirt away. Okay. This is where it gets very confusing, but your ego just believes that to be true. You've got to define with emotion, self-love and ego. Okay. You first have to understand ego. Ego is a lens. It's an electromagnetic guiding omniapparition. It's a lens. You're looking at life as a lens. Okay, that your sensory systems are all engaged. And your sensory system, when it's engaged, it's all emotions. Okay? And the more you are angry, you're into ego. The more that you and you're in pain, that's in ego. Okay? The more you believe that story. Self-love is to stop, is to understand that I need time for myself. I'm going to put myself in my schedule. And somebody bitches about it, understand you're going to find your limitations. You're going to find out whether you have to believe them. And I look at it when somebody gets mad that I didn't want to do what they want to do. It's like, oh, good for me. I didn't fall victim to it. And no, I don't want to do that because I know I need time for myself. When you have old school, those people that are in the first, second, and third chakra, they're going to tell you that you're being selfish. That's when you begin to wake up and realize they're in a paradigm. And you're pulling yourself out of the paradigm because you're like, I don't have to believe that. I had my family so pissed at me, they made it a hate club because I divorced because I was unhappy. And the emotional abuse I was getting, the bullshit I was getting, the mental shit I was getting, I wasn't going to take it anymore. Oh, he's such a good guy. You need to love him. You shouldn't change. Oh, you're being so unfair. That when I decided I was done, they all disowned me. I'm like, all right, my work's done. And it's their choice. Now, I was hurt, but then I healed because I was over-identifying because I was hurt. I stopped hurting. I didn't repress it. I resolved it out. And I respect that that's their choice. I respect that's where they are. Do I want them in my life? I don't need to go down that line and sit there and, yearn and long. No, I don't have to do that. I know that if they want to be in my life, they can be. We think differently. We're out of sync. And I'm okay with that. And I'm happier. I know they're happier. They want to bitch. I can't. It's not my responsibility how they do it. But you can get out of this. The hard time for you to say no, good. I have a hard time saying no. Even though I have a hard time saying no. You put that on the scale from 0 to 10. And what you're going to do is you're going to keep tapping and tapping and tapping how you believe that, how you emotionally believe that. Okay? Yeah, heal out. I know I'm being taken advantage of it. Tap that out. You keep disrupting that signal because your inner world of belief and experiences and over-identifying with matter is telling you this is true. You tap with EFT, emotional freedom technique. The more you disrupt it, the more that you have your inner world to start creating a better, healthier outer world. Seriously, people. It works. I do it. Thank you very much for honoring me. Okay, so now we're going to do the 1 minute reads. So even if you have paid, you still get your 1 minute free read. So this is where we're going to start. We're going to start with protrusion.